control, guys, it's a lot of this test. I will say it's gonna have a lot of terminology on it. So make sure you check out your key terms again. I'm gonna tell you that. Check out the key terms for it. Alright, let's talk about infection control. Guys, infection control is such a big deal for any healthcare system. Because you know, of course we want to leave the same way you came, and also you're trying to help people get better. So if the infection is high, then that's not happening at the facility, right? So we're going to talk about different kinds of infections that we're susceptible to as sonographers. And we're going to talk about ways to improve infection control and what we can do about it. We're going to describe the cycle of infection, understand the means of transmission for several common pathogenic microorganisms, and define the role of sonographer in the fight against infection. Okay. It's kind of a heavy chapter. I'm going to try to lighten it up for us. So because we do have a hand washing test this week. So you guys have another test this week on hand washing on today's Wednesday?
No, Tuesday.
I'm all out of there, guys. On Thursday we're gonna have a hand washing test, just like we did last week with the aided test. We're gonna have a hand washing test right before the exam. Okay, should be an easy 100. You know, we're gonna talk about what that consists of, what you should do as far as hand washing is concerned. Probably tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow. All right. So boom. Okay. So we encounter pathogens every day. Many of these communicable diseases, meaning they can be changed from person to person, communicable, can be combated with a healthy immune system. Okay, but us as sonographers in the healthcare system or in the hospital, man, it's one of the most germiest places you could ever be. That's why some people don't even like stepping foot in the hospital. You know, I get upset like if I see a kid in the hospital walking without shoes on. Like that's upsetting to me because like the hospital floor is the dirtiest place anywhere. You know, the hospital floor is. But not only that, you know, people shaking hands. You know, that's why we fist bump nowadays. You know, so we don't have to shake hands or give a whole salute like I do. Like, what's up? How you doing? You know, or even door handles. You know, that's probably one of the worst vectors of fomites where germs can be held is in the door handle. And of course, somebody blowing their nose is, or sneezing, and then you ever somebody sneeze, chew, and then you walk right into the sneeze. That ever happened to you? That never happened to y'all? That ever? Oh my God, you can smell a sneeze too. You know what I mean? Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Like y'all can't smell a sneeze? Oh my God, y'all something else. But then, so you gotta be careful with the germs because remember, I told you I was one of the doctors was in the restroom after me, left before me. Didn't even wash his hands. Then he wanna be out there. How you doing, Jay? How you doing? Put his hand out. I'm good, Doc. How you doing? So that's just stuff you gotta be aware of. So for healthcare workers, the risk is much higher and pathogens can be much more menacing. Okay? The optimal way to prevent the spread of infection is to practice standard precautions, guys, which is to treat all patients as if they're carriers of a hidden pathogenic organism. That's why it's important that you wear your glove, wear your PPE, wash your hands all the time, clean your transducer, clean your console. That's why it's important to do those things so you don't spread diseases. Because just think, somebody, who did I tell to cut my phone off this morning? Who cut my phone off this morning? When touched my phone with her gloves on. Luckily, I got the plastic on my phone, so I was good. I'm not worried. But I'm just saying, if we were in a hospital setting, you know how mad I would have been at Wynn for doing anything with her gloves on. That's like, leaving the room or walking in the hallway with gloves on. Imagine if you see that. See somebody walking, you thinking like, man, what's going on with that person? Why they got gloves on? So, that's what practicing standard precautions is right there. So our duty is to ensure your patients do not leave less healthy than when you first meet them. Of course not. We're trying to help them get better. But at the same time, using standard precautions also helps you because at the same time, I want to leave the same way I came to, right? I don't want to leave in worse condition, but we know how sickness and stuff like that can be. One person catches a bug. I think somebody sick in here right now, it may jump around to everybody in class. I know the seniors, at one point, everybody got sick in the class at different times. So, you know, definitely, especially being in a closed area like this, bacteria, stuff like that flying around in here, people sneezing, smelling sneezes and all that stuff. And it's hot. No, it's cold in here today. It's hot in the lab. Okay, so let's talk about an infection. An infection is a condition that results when microorganisms cause injury to a susceptible host. Okay, microorganisms cause disease such as bacteria, fungi, viruses, and these are known as pathogens. Okay, guys. A parasite can also cause disease. A parasite is an organism that needs to be living in a host and get nutrition from that host. That's how they stay alive. They're kind of like, I would say, vultures of the body. I would say they're kind of vultures of the body. Anybody used to watch that show, Osmosis Jones? Nobody?
The movie?
I don't know what's going on with y'all, man. I don't know what y'all be doing with y'all. Like, it used to be a cartoon too. It used to be a cartoon I used to watch as well.
Oh yeah.
Osmosis Jones, and he's fighting disease all day. He's fighting disease all day. Okay, so guys, in your book on page 321, table 12.1, I really suggest you guys know that table right there and those examples, because I know those examples are also a homework question, right? So know those pathogen types, description, and then examples. Infectious diseases, also referred to as contagious diseases, communicable diseases, or community-acquired diseases, are spread from one person to another. The pathogenicity of a certain organism can depend upon many factors we'll get into in 1 second. Some of those include the number and the location of the microorganism, and some microorganisms are even helpful to us. For example, a small amount of bacteria may not result in an infection, but if it's allowed to stay there and grow, then that infection will most likely occur. Okay, we all have a normal amount of, I guess, bacteria or flora within our body, you know, and sometimes it can lay dormant for a long time, and maybe, you know, conditions may change to make it, you know, grow or, you know, multiply. Okay. Most microorganisms require a certain amount of moisture or water to survive. Some, like bacteria, produce spores or bacterial seeds. Okay? These spores are resistant to many attempted forms of destruction and thus remain dormant for a long period of time until optimal growth situations arise. Meaning that you can have bacteria on you and it can just stay there, you know, until the optimal, you know, however it grows. All bacteria, viruses, fungi, they have optimal growing and multiplication situations. So depending on that bacteria or virus or fungus, it may or may not grow in water, or maybe it's more susceptible to being in a hotter environment, a cooler environment. So whatever makes that situation optimal, you know, the bacteria spores can stay on there. So all microorganisms have requirements. Okay. And so those requirements, one includes nourishment. This may be found in contaminated organic matter such as food, blood, or any other bodily fluids like saliva. Okay. All microorganisms need the right temperature, meaning require normal body temperature to survive. But not all microorganisms will survive at extreme temperatures, such as when you're in surgery. Myra, you know, she's a surgical tech. You know, I know they use the autoclave to clean a lot of the surgical instruments, meaning they're heating these instruments up to a certain temperature to kill all of the bacteria and microorganisms that occur during surgery. Right, Myra? Just like what we use when we use Cydex. When we use the Cydex to clean the transvaginal, or when we use the tea spray, that's our disinfectant. You know, I wouldn't say it's killing all of the disinfectant is different than dyslexic that, guys. Disinfecting is different than, you know, than sterilizing, than sterilization. You know, sterilization is killing almost all of, you know, the bacteria, and disinfecting is, I guess, bringing that number down and not necessarily killing all of them. Okay. And last thing, all microorganisms require darkness. Pathogens may be destroyed in bright light. A neutral pH environment, one that provides plentiful oxygen, is something else all microorganisms require. Okay. Tetanus and botulism do not require oxygen to survive. These are different types. Tetanus and botulism are different bacteria, and botulism actually a deadly illness caused by toxins from bacteria that can result in paralysis and muscles. Okay. Most important, know what I have on the slide, guys. Tetanus and botulism do not require oxygen to thrive. Okay. I know it's a lot of terms, guys. I'm gonna try to keep it more up to the application, I guess.
So how'd you kill them? Tetanus and botulism. They don't.
Well, you know, with tetanus, you can get a tetanus shot.
Oh.
You know, if you read with tetanus, you know, like I don't know. I remember when I was working at the airport, I used to throw bags. I used to be a baggage handler, and I was stacking bags in the plane. Boom, stacking bags. And then somebody threw a bag to me, and when I grabbed it, the hanger was in there, and it went in my arm, and I had to go get a tetanus shot. You know, after that, so I wouldn't get infected. Okay? I couldn't work for like 2 days because my arm was so heavy from the tetanus shot. So they do have, you know, ways of even though they can't they do not require oxygen to survive. They have ways to prevent them. Okay? Botulism, I don't know anybody that's ever suffered with that. Okay, so guys, let's talk about the cycle of infection and the modes of transmission. Okay, so the cycle of infection is pictured as links in a chain or a succession of stages, with point 1 being the reservoir, the link 1 being a reservoir. The reservoir can be a human or animal, plant, water, food, or any combination of organic material that can support growth of a pathogen. Okay, so that could be any one of them. Could be, you know, be the reservoir for infection. Okay. Step 2 would be the exit from the reservoir, which is the escape route for organisms. Those include like somebody sneezes, your nose, throat, mouth, ear, intestinal tract, urinary tract, and wounds. Basically, all of your openings in your body. You know, if you happen to get a cut, that's also could be an exit reservoir. Okay. That's also known as, guys, a portal of exit according to the book, okay? Once the pathogen